Hey, FanboyNation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
Fanboy.
Fanboy,
fanboy, etc.
FanboyNation.
Dot, I assume Tom.
We are full steam ahead on the nostalgia train. Today, I get to talk with Mark Calderon from Color Me Badd for the I Love the 90s tour coming to the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts on Saturday, September 20th. Mark, it is great to talk to you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
Listen, you are a two-time Grammy Award nominee. You've won the American Music Awards. You've won the Soul Train Awards. You guys are still performing and still rocking it. You, Vanilla Ice, Tag Team are going to be at the show. Tone Loc's going to be there. This is very much a Southern California show coming home to Cerritos. After all this time and all this love that you guys still receive, what does it feel like to step back on that stage and then hear 1,800 to 3,000 people singing your songs back to you?
Man, it's a blessing. It's a dream come true. We get to still do this, man, and it's such a great feeling to get up on stage and people just showing the love after all these years, appreciating what you've done over the years. Man, it's a dream. You get to still do what you love to do, and just hearing the people sing those songs, that they've sung for years, and get to hear it back, what you created 30 years ago. And it's amazing. It really is, man. And then you not only see, the fans sing it, but you see their kids singing it, and it just goes generation after generation. And you see how the lives that you've touched, and it's wow. It's unbelievable. Really. It really is unbelievable. So, what else can you ask for? That you get to do this all over the country for years and years. And I'm sure all those other artists that that's going to be performing on that stage would say the exact same thing.
And to quote you, you do it all for love. So it works out.
No doubt.
The only difference between now and 1995 is that we got to stretch a little bit more.
Got to stretch a little bit more, man. We got a few less hairs, growing, but but we're doing it, man. We're doing it.
Hey, it's easier to manage at this point.
That's right. It really is. It really is, man.
As we continue to see what's going on, you're on tour with Vanilla Ice. You two are the main headliners going through the majority of this concert. Here in Cerritos, it's going to be you guys, Vanilla Ice, Tone Loc, Tag Team. Joe Denham is, I believe, the opening act for you guys.
Yeah.
He's a stand-up comic, right?
Yeah. He's a guy out of Nashville. He's funny. He's a great friend, and he's got a lot of love for people. So come on out and see him. He's a good guy.
Poor Joe. He starts out with stand-up comedy, and all these girls, that are recapturing their youth from 1993, like, get out of the way. We want to see Mark.
Oh man, he's hilarious. He's always got some trick up his sleeve. So come out and check him out too, man. He's a good guy.
I love that you guys still have this positive attitude and are making sure that you're there for the fans and enjoying the moment. We know you guys are going to sing the hits. Is there going to be any moment of peppering in, newer songs that we're looking forward to from more recent albums, or is it just going to be straight old school, I love the 90s, and that's where we're headed?
You know what? Sometimes we do throw a little something in there, some surprises to the crowd. For us on this show, because of the time, we're just going to give them the hits, on this one. Now, I'm not sure what the other guys are going to do, but for us on this particular show, we're going to give them the hits, and it's going to be a straight party, nonstop dancing, nonstop singing, nonstop partying. I know that's what my guy Vanilla Ice does, man. He keeps the party rolling, so he has a great time. Everyone, man, Tone Loc, all of them, man. Man, this show has been going on, since like 2015. This thing has been a nonstop party for years, and it keeps going because it's such a great time. I love the 90s. It's been going on for years. That's why it doesn't stop. And we're going to have a great time September in Cerritos, man. So everybody come on out. let's keep this party going.
I was joking with my buddy the other day. I said, if Ice doesn't perform Ninja Rap, the entire night is a bust.
Oh man, he does a great job with that. He does a great job with that. When he does that song, man, people go nuts. So yeah, he's got to do that one.
You know, when the albums were released back in the day, certain songs hit different markets better. So like
Yeah.
something that hit in New York wouldn't necessarily hit as well it did in LA. Something in LA didn't hit the way it hit in Houston, and so on and so forth. But now, because we have this culmination of the hits that you guys have, the legacy that you've built. Other than "I Want to Sex You Up," is there one particular song or B-side that everyone's really eager to hear?
From us, from Color
Yeah.
Me Bad?
Mhm.
A B-side song from Color Me Bad. Let me see. A song that everyone seems to really like. It was never released here in the United States, but it did very, very well in Asia for us. And it was a song called "Close to Heaven." It was produced by David Foster. And it's a song, it was half English, half Spanish. When we go to Asia and we sing it over there, they know every song, every lyric, every verse. It's unbelievable. They will sing every verse in Spanish too. They'll sing all the Spanish lyrics.
Nice.
And it's great. And then when we play it here in the United States, people, they just love hearing that song. So that's one of the songs that people always seem to really like. Another song that they like is a song called "Forever Love," and that was from the Mo Money soundtrack, and that was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It got up to number 12 on the pop charts back in the day. Another song called "Choose" that did very well for us. So yeah, there's a couple of them that we do, that people would be familiar with. That was not one of the big main three hits, but that people would be familiar with, that people always like to hear. So yeah, sure.
I dig it. Well, "I Adore Me More" is a great song, perfect slow jam. "All for Love" is a fun poppy song. "I Want to Sex You Up" is what puts you on the map. So you guys have done
Sex You
something
Up.
right,
Yeah, no, "I Adore Me More" went #1 pop and R&B simultaneously. That was a big record for us, And "Awful Love," you know what was the great thing about "Awful Love"? It knocked Michael Jackson out of the #1 spot. So hey, man,
Let's be honest. How
it
many
was a
people
great
can say
song.
they knocked Michael Jackson out of the top spot?
Hey, man, not too many people, man. So it was big for us,
Well, the exciting thing, the fans still love you. The shows are going to be great. I'm excited that you're coming to Cerritos because I've been dying to see this tour, and now I finally get a chance to. As we transition, we start off with Joe in comedy, and we go through the lineup. As obviously, I know you guys are waiting to perform, and you guys have your method, whether you're hyper focused or you're praying or you're doing your vocal warm ups. But how often do you get to pull the curtain off on the side of the stage and just enjoy the moment as not necessarily an audience member because you're up next, but be a fan of music in that regard?
Man, a lot of times, because I am a big fan of music, I listen to all these guys. Now, I will say this to you. I've done 100 shows with all these guys, so I've heard all of it, But, I still appreciate the music. And, I'm just a fan of music itself, so I can appreciate all of it. Not only that, but I'm good friends with all these guys. So, that's what makes it special. And back in the day, I wasn't friends with them. I didn't know them. I knew their music. But now that when you get to know these guys, I mean, they're really special people. So it's almost, family, it's family in that sense. So that's what makes it even more special. So yeah, man, it's a good team. It's a good lineup. And man, I really appreciate being on this show. It's really great.
That also has to be a lot more fun when everybody gets along versus we got to tour with this band, but it's a double billing. We're in the same genre. Both of us are trying to make money, so we'll just tolerate them for the next 3 months. Where here is other shows, depending where we are in the country or North America, Rob Bass will be there, Young MC will be there, CNC Music Factory, and you've toured with all of them,
Yeah.
and it's joyous to see that everyone is actually enjoying the moment.
Man, you know what? It's so true, man. You get to know these guys, and they're all people. They're all humans. They all got families. They all are just, out there just doing what they do, what they love to do. And that's the great thing about it, man. You get to know these guys and you really get to know them, So you were out there, man. Say, hey, man, it's all good. Go out there, do your thing. We're going to be rooting for you. And, that's what it is, man. It's a big family.
So then this begs the question, since I was in high school in the 90s, you were a part of my high school experience in that regard. Yeah. What trend, whether fashion, whether, style of music or, something that like hit in the 90s that you're like, oh, I wish we could bring that back for one moment.
Yeah. What do I wish? Man, I love the overalls, man. I love the overalls. Oh, but I still see people wearing them still every now and then. I see a lot of people coming to the shows and they'll be wearing them, kind of bringing that style back. That's one cool thing about these 90s shows is that you'll still see people, wearing the 90 gears, kind of bringing that nostalgia back. And, that'll put me in a good mood. I was like, yeah, there you go, So, but now I've got to get back. I got to get back into wearing that stuff. You know what? Maybe I might try that one day. I might try, wearing something like that on stage. Maybe I might do that. So, but yeah, we'll have to bring that stuff back, man. That stuff is good stuff.
The silk shirts and the overalls. All right, I dig it. Especially the airbrush one.
Oh yeah, we got to do it. We got to do it. No doubt, man. Hey, I still wear that stuff on stage, man. I still wear the airbrush stuff. I got to wear the airbrush stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
The one thing I'd want to bring back most, since I've never been really a drinker, was the late night coffee houses. Like you'd be there till like 2 a.m, just sipping coffee and hanging out and shooting pool or whatever.
Man, I would give my left arm to go back to the 90s, man, because it was the best time, man. Wasn't it? It was great. Oh.
I was talking to a few buddies the other day, same ones that I said, the ninja rap thing to, and I was like, the best window of time for music really felt like 87 to about 94. And just
absolutely.
Because you could be into metal, you could be into rap, New Jack Swing, R&B, grunge hit, and there was still room for that, gangster rap, and it was multiple genres that we were encompassed with, and we could always find something new in the record store.
Always, man. It was a great time for music, no doubt. You could find it was just like all this music just coming at you at once, and still the music business was still at a good place. I think they were still trying to develop artists, and still now it's not like that anymore. It's I'm not sure if I'm really crazy about where all that is right now. But that's why I'm thankful that we were able to put out music when we did. And look, after 30 years, we're still being able to perform it, so we're still being able to work. That's the great thing. I don't know if that's going to be possible with artists that are coming out to today, if they're going to be able to do what we're doing,
right?
So I don't know, but, I'm happy and I'm thankful, for where we're at right now, but maybe things will change. Who knows?
It almost feels like the 1950s in the regard that it's really become a singles market. Like in the 60s, everybody was just buying 45s and singles. And here we are, even though it's Spotify and Apple Music, it's just 45s and singles, essentially.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. Good point. Yeah.
So it's just weird what's old is now new again, just with a different medium bringing it to you.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
You mentioned the song on Mo Money. Your song. We were in an era growing up, and especially when you guys were performing, being on soundtracks. I remember soundtracks that outlasted the movie. People will still listen to the Mo Money soundtrack with Luther and Janet, and then you guys and everything else. And it was like, wait a minute, that was a Damon and Marlon Wayans film. It was a movie that came out, and sometimes the soundtracks outlast the film. How powerful is that as a musician, where you were just an added bonus essentially to this big Hollywood project, and you're like, no, people remember us far more than what came out on celluloid.
Isn't that something, man? Yeah. I mean, gosh, it's crazy. And think about soundtracks for movies. What? There's soundtracks for movies. Man, that doesn't happen anymore, does it?
Yeah. No, not really.
Sometimes
James Gunn brought it back, but that's about it.
yeah, the soundtracks would make the movies. You know, they would put the soundtrack out before the movies would come out back then, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, so that was yeah, that was some. I mean, I remember the Kenny Loggins song for Top Gun.
Yep.
You know, that made people go see the movie Top Gun. Well, of course, Tom Cruise, you know, but it was a big hit, you know, and it, you know, that would help. You remember that movie Running Scared? You know, when Michael McDonald would come out what's that song? Sweet Freedom.
Sweet Freedom,
You know,
yeah.
yeah, that was a big hit before the Running Scared came out, you know, which helped, you know, promote the movie.
Right.
What's going on here? Oh, sorry.
But it was also great
yeah,
the
man.
cast would also show up in the video too. You know,
the cast would show up, man. The cast would show up in the video. You know. Speaking of that, New Jack City, where I Want to Sex You Up showed up. You know, where I Want to Sex You Up came from. You know, what a great scene that came from, and that right there, that movie made our career. You know, because. Ironically, Dr. Freeze, who produced I Want to Sex You Up, you know, he came up with the idea. They told him that they wanted a song in that one particular scene where that girl is dancing on the table, you know, and they had him sit down in a one of those preview showings, and they said, "All right, Freeze, write us, you know, come up with something here." So Freeze came up with the track. He gave it to us. He had the hook of it. I want to sex you up. And that's whenever he gave us the track, and we wrote the lyrics, you know, and the melody and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, that's how I Want to Sex You Up came about. But it came from a soundtrack, movie soundtrack. And that's kind of how we got going. So there you go. Go figure. Movie soundtracks.
Imagine if you guys got residuals every time that was played in a gentleman's club. You'd be long retired at this point.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh, geez, Pete's, man. Unbelievable. Wow. Good stuff.
As things continue to progress, I know you're going to be in Atlantic City September 13th. I'm sorry, you're not going to specifically, but you guys, you know, September 10th in Spokane is Vanilla Ice and Sir Mix-a-Lot with CNC Music Factory. Mix is going to be at his home base. You're coming to California. Like, when you get to go across the country yet again and see the reaction, whether it's the United States or the rest of North America and Canada and Mexico, and everyone's still, you know, booming for it. Like, I got to see New Kids on the Block in June. The crowd was on fire. You know, I saw All for One at Cerritos as well with Drew Hill. The crowd was still on fire. There's something to be said about this era, again, 87 and 94, which is really its own micro decade of music that still touches people. And like you said, people's kids are singing the songs now, you know, and doing your old dance routines at talent shows. Like, when you see something like that on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever, and you're like, wow, you know, their kids are doing our moves, like they've still paid attention to our videos. Like, that's got to be, like, you know, rewarding in a sense as well.
You know, I mean, it really is, man. You know, it's unbelievable how you just touch so many lives, you know, generation after generation. And, you know, I mean, just think, when I was growing up, there was, you know, the Osmonds, man, that's who I watched, the Osmonds, the Jacksons, you know, groups like that. I'm going to say Menudo. You remember that group Menudo? They, you know, my sister was in love with Menudo, you know, and they were an influence, Ricky Martin and them, all those guys. So they were a big influence on us also. So, yeah, so I get it. You know, it's generation influence, you know. Temptations. My dad was a big doo-wop fan, and he introduced me to those acts. You know, he loved the Beatles. You know, the first 45 that I bought was Love, Love Me Do, because I loved the sound of that simplicity of that song, you know. And yeah, so I get it, man. That's how it works, you know. And it's an honor to be influencing the new generation.
It's fun. It's funny that you mentioned the Temptations, because they're performing the night after you at the Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts with the Four Tops.
Oh man, jeez, man, I might have to stay the next day to watch them. My gosh. Wow.
Just one more night in Southern California for you.
One more night. I had no idea, but thank you for telling me.
So what does like a pre-show ritual look like now in comparison, to 30 years ago? Because, times change, our mentality changes, we grow up, we calm down. Is it like a moment of prayer? Is it reflection? Is it just vocal exercises? Like, what does the pre-show look like for you?
Pretty much the same, pretty much the same. Just kind of preparing mentally for the show, vocal exercise, just kind of mentally going over with the other guys of what we're going to do. Every stage is different. Sometime the lineup of the list of shows the list of songs that we're going to perform that night could change, or the way we're going to do them could change. So, we're just kind of going over, doing what we're going to do. The lineup of the show could change, in the acts. So, yeah. So a lot can change, just kind of preparing of how we're going to, perform that night and how we're going to do it. Goes through it all. Yeah. We'll just kind of prepare.
Now, Mark, I don't know if you have kids or not, but it's always interesting to see people, especially children of musicians, where people would come up to their parents and go, "I got married to your song." And then the kid's like, "Yeah, that's the guy that made me clean my room." Like, how's that dichotomy work for you?
Oh man, it's funny because my kids came out to my show a couple of weeks back in Illinois, and it's just they're probably like, "Wow, what's going?" They see all the screaming fans and all that, and they're probably thinking, "Wow, that's my dad up there," But I turn into a whole nother person, when I come up on stage,
Right.
So it probably is a little different for them to see me off stage, and then see me on stage and how people respond. So I don't know, they just look at me. They don't see me like that, of course, but I'm sure it's different for them, because I'll get on them if they, if they get out of line, Pops is gonna get on them. So, but they're great. My kids are grown, but still,
You're still dad, though. That's the thing.
I'm still dad. No doubt. I'm still Pops. So.
All right. So, people from my era, tail end of Gen X into young millennials, they call us Zennials. I hate the title, but it's the most accurate depiction for us. We're already showing up on September 20th in Cerritos Center.
Yeah.
What would you like to tell people? Are like, "Oh, I've heard these songs, I'm into going to concerts." Why should the people that aren't as familiar, but like know some of the songs, need to come check you guys out in person?
Because it's a great, fun show. If you want to have a good time, come to this show. This is a fun show. If you want to go out and just let go and just go down memory lane, I'm not kidding. Man, come out to this show and just let loose for once. Leave all your troubles behind and just let go. It'll take you back to when you were 18, 15, 16 years old, and you can be a kid again. That's what it's all about. And that's what we do, man.
I love it.
Come on out.
Mark Calderon, thank you so much for your time today. I can't wait to see you on the 20th. I'm excited for everything that's coming. The I Love the 90s tour, Vanilla Ice, Color Me Bad, Tone Loc, and tag team along with Joe Denham as the opening act. Where can we find you on social media to connect?
Yeah, the colormebadmusic.com on Instagram and on Facebook, Color Me Bad. So check us out, come and join us, connect with us we got also on our webpage, colormebad.com. Connect with us there. And much love. Thank you for having me. And we'll see everybody in Cerritos.